Hello, my name is Mariela Chingo. I'm an international pianist performer. I'm also co-founder of Stage Talent, an academy where we teach musical instruments to children as young as 4 and upwards. But I'm also mother to 2 children whose love for music I try to cherish. I'm doing a series of talks on pieces and how we might best tackle them when learning them. They're aimed at teachers if you need some new ideas on methodology or inspiration. They're aimed at parents. You don't need to be a musician, but it's just aimed at you if you want to sit in when your child is practicing, if they want to interact with you, and then you can just know what to listen for. And also it's aimed at you if you are a student and you are trying to learn these pieces and you don't really know where to start, you don't know how to break down your practice, because you hear the word practice, but a lot of the time teachers make the mistake of not telling us how to practice. What does the word practice actually mean? So I'm going to talk about a grade 5 piece. I'm doing the series from Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music. This is grade 5, and I'm going to talk about Etude in A minor, which is section B. It's the second piece in section B. For starters, an étude is a French word and it means study. So it's something that you do to help you, to acquire a skill that you might not already have. Okay. In A minor, that's explanatory. A minor, it's a sort of bit sad sounding. It's not the best word to describe it, but it is one word to describe minor. So it is in that key. And I chose it because it's written by a French composer, Louise Farenc. I hope I said that right. Now, she composed, for starters, she was a lady, okay? She lived between 1804 and 1875. And along with her husband, she wrote and edited lots of music. She was a professor, and she, and she wrote this thing called the treasure, like the treasury for pianists, of pieces that she thought would be really good for pianists to learn, would really help them. And you don't get to hear about many lady composers. That's why I chose her. I will play you the piece, and then we will discuss why we think it might be a study, and then how we should tackle it. So first, just have a listen to how this piece sounds. That is our lovely Etude in A minor, study in A minor. Now, why might this be a study? It sounds so easy. It's so easy to sing it. It's so easy to follow. Why might it be a study? What are we trying to aim for? Well, for starters, this is written in compound time. Compound means something that sounds simple, but it isn't quite. So if you had to clap in time to this, you would get a feeling of 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? So it sounds like 2. So we might think, yeah, there are 2 beats to the bar. You are correct, there are. But I don't know if you picked a feeling of and. So it's 1 and 2 and 1. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So really it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So really it's 6/8, which means we have 6 quavers in a bar, 6 half beats in a bar. But when we're playing it, it sounds in 2. It sounds like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And also if you're a conductor, you can conduct something that's in 2 easy, because you go 1, 2. You go down with your baton on 1, so you go 1 and 2 up for the second one. If it's in 3, again you can do this. So you can go 1 like a triangle shape. So you go 1, 2, 3, like you're drawing a triangle. 1, 2, 3. Same thing if it's 4. You can go 1, go the other way, 2, 3, 4. But if you've got 6, what do you do with your hand for 6? It's really, really tricky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No one has come up with a way of conducting 6 or 5. So this one is broken into 2. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So it sounds in 2. It makes it much easier to conduct. But you have 3 counts on the downbeat and another 3 on your upbeat. Okay, that's the explanation of a compound. It's compound because they've compressed 6 counts and they made it sound like it's 2 counts. Okay, but you have 6 beats, so you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the first one. So it's an exercise just in that, just getting your head around that. Second thing, you will notice that your left hand has got the accompaniment roll. And the right hand has got the melody. That in itself is tricky, just to get the balance right, because you've only got right hand. Yes, it's got the melody, so we need to hear it above the left hand, but it's only playing 1 note at a time, whereas the left hand is playing 3 notes at once. It can be tricky. It's very easy to hear this. To lose the melody, whereas what we want is this. Okay, that's the first trick, that as you are working on this piece, it's a study, because you will be studying it, and part of your difficulty will be to overcome the balance between hands. So you start by bringing out the right hand and left hand is lower. Now this piece has got clear phrases. That's your first sentence. Okay, next phrase. It develops. Okay, then you got another idea, which is this. I call them ornaments. They are like decorations in your music. It's a little bit like you walk into a room and it might be a lovely house, but there's nothing on the walls. There's no color. There's no furniture, and it's like you can then come in and say, I'm going to put a vase in there. I'm going to put a picture frame in here, and you start to decorate the room to how you like it. This is what they did with the music. So they started simply. And they could have played, but they decided to add a little decoration there and go. That's the S on its side. We call that a turn. So you play the note above it, then the back note itself, then you play the note below and the note again. So instead of playing B, you play B, the note above, back to B, the note under, which is A, and back on B. Then you continue the rest of the piece. Alright, and every time you see those S's, that's what you do. Here it is. I quite like that. Yes, so that will be another thing. You need to get your hands, you need to get your fingers used to playing those tones. So it would be worth you doing. I like to use fingers 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on, just to get used to those turns. So that's another second part of your study, yes? So you have balance, we have ornaments, then we have grace notes, and we have acachaturas and apoyaturas. These are the apoyaturas. So you have the actual note, the way that it's written, you will only see. So it's, where is it? In bar 9, you will see that you've got that da da da, yeah? But they don't want you to play. They have added and then the rest. So they're moving up in thirds, which is quite tricky to do when you're playing that fast. So that on its own, you need to work on that. And again. And I have had children ask me this before. They say, why didn't, if they want us to play them as part of that phrase, why not write them in? And I always answer, well, there's a really simple answer. At the time when this was written, people didn't have computers, they didn't have the technology that we now enjoy. They didn't have perhaps as much paper. Paper wasn't as cheap as it might be now. And I'm not even sure if electricity was invented yet at that time, so not everyone would have had that. So they would have made the most of natural daylight, and they would have tried to save their paper and their ink and their pens. Everything had to be handwritten. They couldn't type in somewhere and then press delete. Everything was handwritten. So very possible that when the composer started, she wanted to do this melody. And then later on, when she looked at it again, she thought, that's a bit boring. I actually want to add some more decor to this. I want to add more, you know, of those trills or decorations. So then decided to do first decoration and second. So rather than scrapping the whole page and starting again, it makes sense just to add those tiny little notes as extras at the end, perhaps. And then all the other musicians, they would understand that that's what's happening at the time, and they would just play it, okay? Or you have things like trills. So again, maybe when she started, she wrote. And then later on she thought, again, that's a bit boring, I want to add. Trill is when you play the note and the note above it, and then back on the note itself. So instead of A, you got A, B, A. So you go, or instead of B, you go B, C, B, or C, D, C. Yes, and again, they would have written it as simple note, and then later on thought, I want this as a trill. So trill literally means to shake, so it sounds like you're shaking it. So they would just simply write TR on top of that note, meaning do a little shake here. Da-da-dum, and the musicians would know what to do. Okay, this is all the science that you have with this period. It's lovely. And once you have this, it's easy. Those are the things that you are working on. Now, breaking it down, this you're going to have to do a phrase at a time. Okay, it's not that difficult. So it's a pastoral type of piece. It's a slow compound time. It was very popular in the 18th century, by the way, this type of music, the way that it was written. The form of it is ABA. So your A would be your section A. What do I mean by section A? I mean the first idea that you hear, and it's like a block of it, and you know it's that idea. Maybe a little bit developed, but it is that idea. So now it's still the same idea, but developed in a slightly different way. Right? And then here we have the new idea, which is why we refer to this as section B. So it's something completely different. It's not like A, it's B. So and so on and so on. And then eventually you come back to, it's your original idea. So you've come back to your section A, but again developed slightly differently. What's different about it this time? First time round, right hand was the same. Whereas left hand, you was playing 3 notes as a chord. The second time round is sticking to those 3 notes, which are your A and C and E, but instead of playing them together, it's going from one to the other. Da, 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 da. And again. Next chord. Yeah, so it's still the same notes, just a different variation on those notes. It's not tricky. So again, if you're having to read this, you can compare it. It's worth comparing this section with your section A at the very beginning and check what's similar about it, what's different. Similarities. Right hand has got the same melody. You're playing it at the same pace. You've got the same harmonies. Left hand is still playing A and C and E. Difference. First time round, left hand played them as chords, so at the same time. This time they are broken down, so your broken chords. Right, which is nice and easy. Then you have your ending. Which is your scales. Then you finish on A minor with the arpeggio notes. So, still on A minor, right? And easy then to work on this one. Now, how do you tackle it? I will start with the melody. I believe it's very important to be able to sing it first. If you can sing it, you have that melody in your head, that will help for you then to get the balance right. Because then when you're playing it, I would still encourage you to sing the melody with your inner voice. And that way, without you realizing, your right hand will sound louder, or whichever hand has got the melody will instinctively play that little bit louder, because that's the hand that you are encouraging in your head by singing that melody. So start with the melody. Leave out the decorations for now. Just get the melody first. And take care when you finish those phrases. Shape it. Da, da. Because if you're singing, that's how you would sing it. Da, 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 da. You wouldn't sing da 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 da. You wouldn't just get loud there. It doesn't make sense to make loud. So try to emulate in your playing, your singing the whole time. Voice came first, then we used our hands to copy what we would have sung. Okay. Once you've done that, then you try the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, and you do one phrase at a time. Then you can try it hands together. Again, sometimes people struggle with this one, pupils, especially if they're young. It's like motor skills, so it can be a bit tricky to get hands coming together. So I recommend trying it on your lap. Just try tapping it. So 1, 2, and 3. So you have together, then you have the right hand for that extra note, and then they're together again. So you go bam, right together, together, and together. Bam, da, 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 da. And once they do this over and over in their lap, being able then to transfer it from here onto here becomes easy. Try it with one note if it's tricky. Then you can add the other notes. So just do it one step at a time. Just work with that phrase alone. Then the next and the next and the next. Same thing when you go into the left hand, going. Leave out the decorations. When you feel really confident that you can do these hands separately, you can do it hands together, then you can try and bring those decorations in. It will be much easier to introduce them because your hands will already know what to do. What else did I want to say here? When you go into the... So this is bar 23, when you are starting to prepare about how you're going to end the piece. Try to have the left hand stretched out So try not to do too many changes if you can help it. You will notice you are D to D and you have two notes in the middle which are F and B. So, and then it goes one note lower from D down to C. Up again. Okay, this will help you because right hand has got big jumps. It's got B, C, B, and then it jumps there. A. So you go B, F, A, E. Whenever you've got big jumps, keep your eyes on the note where you want to land. Then your hand will land. But if you're worrying about what your left hand is doing, that means that you can't see the hand that has to do the jump. So, for that reason, I want you to stretch your left hand an octave, leaving your right hand free and your eyes free to look at that F up there where you need to land with the right hand. And again, you're watching the right hand, you're watching that note, your eyes are here, you're not following your hand, you are just watching that A. And left hand is easy because it goes from D down to C. All the notes go down one. Once you've covered these, then this study is nice and easy. Try to practice it slowly, don't try to go fast. Then you just add one idea and then the next and then the next and then the next. Then the piece will be easy. Like I say, approach it like a puzzle. Start with one piece, try to get your corners, try to get the ones that will really help you. So this idea, we know it starts like this and we know it finishes like this. So work at the beginning and then work at the end. You don't always have to go from the beginning and the next bar and the next bar and the next bar. No, do the first section, this one with chords. And once you've done the section, do the last page, which is where your theme comes again, but with the left hand in broken chords. Because it will reinforce the melody, it will reinforce the notes, just that the first time they're chords, second time they're broken chords. Once you feel really confident with the first time you have section A and the second time you have section A, then you start working on your section B, which is completely new idea. Whereas if you try to do section A and then a new idea, by the time you come to section A again, it will feel like a third idea, it will feel like completely different, and then it can feel like a bit of a mountain to climb when it needn't be, it really needn't be. So have some fun with this piece. And if you have any more ideas, feel free to share, feel free to email me. Thank you for watching. I'm Mariella from Stage Talent Academy.